Well, I can tell you that October is going to be a very expensive month for me. I will probably spread the purchases out over a period of time. And you probably won't see these books reviewed till January because I may save a few of these to unwrap under the Christmas tree. I may make a few of these Christmas presents. October, November, we usually gather up the books and I give them to the hubby to wrap for me to unwrap under the Christmas tree. Because he's not very good at buying Christmas presents. And you got to start early with buying those presents. You can start them in August. Some people start in June. Buy one or two things at a time so that you can buy a large amount of presents that are needed, but you're not spending a whole bunk of cash at one point. You're going to do it as a gradual thing. So that's the way to do it, is buy one or two things at a time through a course of 6 months. Am I boring you? How's my girl? So, welcome to the D. Louise Book Series. I'm Christina Carros, TINA. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no G music, none of that fancy stuff going on here. And welcome to October new releases. And if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I would really greatly appreciate it. I always forget to ask. There's a new person. I need to write their thing down. But I just want to say shout out to Trudy, shout out to Selena, shout out to Z-Book, and I'm forgetting one. And there's another one that's been showing up lately that I need to write their name down so I can say it properly. It's just like a couple of numbers, and it's not anything that really makes sense. But I've got my papers here. But anyway, you guys have been Leaf Sonata. That was the other one. But there's another one. There's somebody else that's popped up that's been encouraging me every day, and I want to shout out to them too. But I need to write the name down. So maybe in a couple other videos we'll get to it. But so like I said, we're going to be spending quite a bit of money this October, November. So we've got The Haunting of Payne's Hollow. When Samantha Payne grandfather dies, she figures she won't even get a mention in the will. After all, she hasn't seen him in 14 years, not since her father took his own life after being accused of murdering a child at their lakefront cottage. Her grandfather has always insisted her father was innocent, despite Sam having caught him burying the child's body, his clothing streaked with blood. But when she does attend the reading of the will, at the behest of her aunt, she discovers that her grandfather left her the very valuable lakefront property where the family cottage sits. There's one catch. Sam needs to stay in the cottage for a month to finally face the fact that she was wrong and her father was innocent, in her grandfather's words. Traveling to Payne Hollow, Sam is faced with the realities of childhood and the secrets kept hidden in the shadows of her memories. When her aunt goes missing a couple days after this day, Sam begins to question everything and even has some nightmares. So we'll see how that goes. This next book, you will see on this channel eventually, is going to be one of those purchases. Ellery Adams' The Tattered Cove. It was dark, rainy night at Nora Pennington's Miracle Books when a mysterious death brings the secret book and Scone Society into the Halloween season on the trail of a murderer. As the residents of Miracle Springs, North Carolina, select their costume plan parties and get excited for a night of trick or treats, Nora joins in on the festivities by hosting medium memorist Laura Luz at the bookstore. Charismatic and compelling, Laura mesmerizes the audience with her life story. Struck by a bolt of lightning as a child, she was pronounced dead only to be resurrected with the ability to connect with those on the other side. Lara forms a reading for a select group of bookstore patrons when the encroaching storm knocks out the power. In sudden darkness, howling winds intensify, and Laura clutches her heart, collapsing dead without warning. But Nora doesn't believe she died of natural causes. Not one member of the psychic reading group, which included the town's widower pharmacist, an urgent care nurse, a mystery author, and even a truculent Deputy Howell, are admirers of Lara. Now she's got to solve that mystery. Another lady we've seen often, another author we've seen often on this channel and in Flashback Mondays, MC Beaton, Sugar and Spite, an Agatha Raisin mystery, book 36. When a series of deaths within a small Cotswold bird-watching community begins to unravel her village, Agatha and her team at Raisin Investigators are certain there has been foul play involved. Now they must dig up decades' worth of tempestuous relationship and simmering secrets among the bird-watching enthusiasts of the village in order to prevent any further deaths. But with Agatha's own relationship with John Glass on the rocks, after he is called away on his job as a cruise ship dance instructor, and Sir Charles Frayth now attempting to step into John's shoes as her lover, Agatha has her work cut out for her. We have used this lady several times. She's been in Flashback Monday, she's been in our Animal If Thens, and she was in our Dog Days of Summer If Then. She's been around, she shows up around Flashback Mondays often. Die Another Dane. Laurie Burson. After seeing a Great Dane at a dog show, Melanie's younger son Kevin has become obsessed with this giant breed. Some kids get into dinosaurs. For Kevin, it was Great Dane. Aunt Peg introduces Melanie and her son to Audrey Kane, a charming older woman who breeds and shows the big dogs. My relative had went through a couple of Great Danes, and one particular Great Dane was an albino. And she was hard of hearing and 90% blind. But she lived quite a while. Not too long. But let's say 10, 11, something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while. But she was I forget. But yeah, she was an albino Great Dane. And she had blue eyes. Really blue eyes. Aware of Melanie's talents for sleuthing, Audrey asks for help to find a missing brooch. She suspects her stepsister Lara. Sam and Melanie are showing their standard poodle puppy Plum at a dog show, where Lara will also be exhibiting her Great Dane. Melanie makes contact with Lara but gets no answers. When Audrey is found dead in her home, Aunt Peg enlists the help of the local Great Dane Club to foster Audrey's 10 dogs, one of whom Melanie takes on. To her surprise, Lara comes to her and asks her to solve her stepson's murder. From the president of the Great Dane Club to Audrey's dependable dog sitter, and not ruling out Laura herself, Melanie soon has more suspects than Audrey has Great Danes. Olivia Black. Death at the Door. The Ruby and Cordelia Mysteries, Book 2. Ruby Young is slowly adjusting to her new life in Boston, a part of that is her unexpected roommate, the ghost of a woman who lived there before. For Cordelia Graves, she may no longer be breathing, but it's still her apartment, and Rudy is somewhat unwanted guest. They're both happy they've managed to become friends, which is a miracle considering they struggle to communicate with each other. Even Cordelia even set Ruby up with her old job. When Ruby discovers the body of a delivery guy at work, their new life she's been building hangs in the balance. The last time Cordelia dragged Ruby into a murder investigation, it was almost two ghosts living in the apartment, not one. Determined to protect Ruby, Cordelia tries to shield her from the investigation, but Ruby has other ideas. It will take both of them working together to navigate the fine line between the dead and the living to bring a killer to light. So these might be good. I did one of these a while ago. I didn't know. So this book probably, the first one probably came out last year or so. So maybe I did this video prior to that. I'm pretty sure probably prior to that. But I was looking for, and I used Carolyn Haynes because of Zitty, and a couple of, Carolyn, not Carolyn, um, Casey Daniels, uh, has one. She solves the murders in the cemetery, and Tanya Capes has one. I did a whole bunch of people working with ghosts to solve murder mysteries. So check out that if then. It was a while ago, but this should be one we should add to it. Another lady that has been around for a really long time. She shows up often in Flashback Mondays. Rita Mae Brown. She also was probably in The Dog Days of Summer. It's hunting season in the footfalls of Virginia, and Sister Jane Arnold is content to spend it alongside her friends, particularly one Olivia Bradford. Olivia is a formidable figure in town, not least because she keeps the peace between sons Winston and Andrew, but when she passes away, the brothers return to the squabbling ways. Faced with contention over their inheritance, tensions escalate, and the two get into a fierce fight. After that, one of them turns up dead, and all eyes point to the other as the main suspect. Oh, I wrote this down. What did I do with it? Oh, that's what that paper was. Hold on. Excuse me. So, for all of you, and me, and a friend of mine, who was anxiously looking for a Mercedes Thompson book and or an Omega book, are going to be slightly disappointed. This is a what's his face? Asil, ASIL, a seal book. And there are five standalone novels, short stories, and they're about a seal dating, and we've been told that three are new and two have been previously published. And I don't remember where I found these, and I'm hoping these are the correct ones because I remember writing this down. Must Love Cats, Scheherazade, Sheherazade, and Dating Terrors are the three new ones, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I read that someplace. So it's Blind Date with a Werewolf, Patricia Briggs, unusual cover. When the Dear Asil, we are worried about you. A werewolf alone is a sad thing, especially Christmas time. So we have a challenge for you. 5 dates in 3 weeks. We have taken the work out of it and connected you with 5 people from online dating sites. You should also know that we have informed the whole pack and instigated a betting pool. Have fun. So that's that one. Michael Connelly, The Proving Ground, a Lincoln Lawyer novel. Following his resurrection walk and need for new direction, Mickey Haler turns to public interest litigation, filing a civil lawsuit against an artificial intelligence company whose chat box told a 16-year-old boy that it was okay for him to kill his ex-girlfriend for her disloyalty. Representing the victim's family, Mickey's case explores the possibility, mostly unregulated and exploiting AI business and the lack of training guardrails. Along the way, he joins up with a journalist named Jack McGoy, who wants to be a fly on the wall during the trial in order to write a book. But Mickey puts him to work going through the mountain of printed discovery materials in the case. McCoy's digging ultimately delivers the key witness, a whistleblower who has been too afraid to speak up. The case is fraught with danger because billions are at stake. Okay, an author who is now being ghosted by his child. So it's Nelson DeMille with Alex DeMille, a Tin Man, a Scott Brody and Maggie Taylor series. Army CID Special Agent Scott Brody and Maggie Taylor team up for their toughest assignment yet as they are dispatched to Camp Hayden to investigate the death of Major Roger Ames, the chief scientist in charge of the top secret war games being conducted between a platoon of Army Rangers and a fleet of lethal automaton weapons. Brody and Taylor find themselves at ground zero of the next generation of warfare and must untangle the complex web of alliances, animosities, and secret agendas among the men and the women of the isolated facility. In a place cut off from the world and exposed to the harsh desert elements, everyone is a suspect, from the zealous group commander who pushes his men to the limit, to the ranger slipping in madness due to isolation, the grueling training, and the rampant abuse of performance-enhancing drugs. Yeah. Another lady that shows up quite often in our food cozies. She's always good for a Halloween or a Thanksgiving or a Christmas or an Easter, or her and Leslie Meir. And there's another one. There's three ladies that always are good for holiday books. Joanne Fluke, Pumpkin Chiffon Pie. Let's see. Hannah scrambling to bring the flowers of autumn to Lake Eden, Minnesota, with the sweet taste of justice to an indulgent killer. As Lake Eden's Harvest Festival sends the cookie jar into pumpkin spice mania, Hannah splits her focus between scrumptious treats and sharing her tiny condo with new Norman Rhodes and his cat Cuddles. It's an awkward but necessary solution after Norman Dream farmhouse burned down over the summer, torched by a criminal desperate to conceal a terrifying secret. No one has a clue about the arsonist, the body found among the ruins, or the class ring from a local high school partially melted by the flames. But when a celebration leads to the discovery of another murdered graduate, Hannah realizes someone might be seeking violent revenge against her former classmates and must whip up a last-minute plan to find out who. With the help of her family, it's on Hannah makes a makeshift event planner to arrange an all-class alumni party at the gym and attempt a vicious killer out of hiding. But will the real killer give RSVPs? We'll see. Philippa Gregory, Boleyn Trader. Jane Boleyn watches the shadows of the Tudor court, where secrets are currency. Every choice is dangerous, and even the faintest whisper can fate of the queens. For Jane's survival demands playing every role required of her. Loving wife who conceals her doubts, a devoted sister to Anne Boleyn at the height of her power, and an obedient spy who carefully wields her words. but in a court ruled by ambition and tyrant's words, Jane must rely on her sharp wit and skillful maneuvering to outthink those around her, knowing that one wrong move could cost her everything. Philippa Gregory masterfully shines a spotlight on the untold story of Jane Boleyn, peeling back the mist to reveal a complex portrait of a woman who dared to survive at any cost. Interesting. Mr. Grisham! Last couple weeks ago, I did a John Grisham. He's not in my wheelhouse. And I was fishing around for books to read, and I found this Camino Island. Please see my review, it was a few days ago. And if I had known it was a trilogy, I wouldn't have read book 3 first. But I didn't even realize it was a book. I thought John Grisham wrote standalones. I didn't know he wrote trilogies. And I read the book, reviewed the book on a video, then went to log it as a read for Goodreads, and discovered it was book 3 and was so massively pissed off at myself because I needed something to read for the next couple of days, and a trilogy would have worked out really, really well, but I didn't realize it was a trilogy until it was too late, and there was no way I was going to go back and read book 1 and 2. And I spent most of the video ranting and raving because the reason I had picked it up was that it was paranormal. And I wanted to know more about the island. I wanted to know more about the ghosts. And he went more the legal route, which is what John Grisham does because he is more the legal person. So it's Camino Ghosts. So anyways, The Widow, a novel. Simon Latch is a lawyer in rural Virginia, making just enough to pay his bills while his marriage slowly falls apart. Then into his office walks Eleanor Bennet, an elderly widow in need of a new will. Apparently her husband left her a small fortune and no one knows about it. Once he hooks the richest client of his career, Simon works quietly to keep her wealth under the radar, but soon her story begins to crack. When she is hospitalized after a car accident, Simon realizes that nothing as it seemed, and he finds himself on a trail for a crime he didn't commit: murder. Oops. Agatha Christie, the last death of the year. Sophie Hannah. New Year's Eve, 1932. Heroic Poirot and Inspector Edward Catchpole arrive on the tiny Greek island of Lampros to celebrate the holiday with what turns out to be a rather odd community of locals living in a dilapidated house, a dark sense of foreboding overshadowing the beautiful island getaway when the guests play a New Year's Eve resolution game after dinner, and one written resolution gleefully threatens to perform the last and first death of the year. Hours later, one of the home's residents is found dead on the terrace. Gotta solve that mystery. The whodunit. Jonathan and Jesse Kellerman, Coyote Hills. If you like these, go check out Tony Hillerman and Ann Hillerman and all of my videos for those. And my Native American If Then. And my Black authors If Then. Clay Edison has left behind the Alameda coroner's office to strike out on his own as a private investigator. He perfectly happily works low-stakes embezzlement cases, that is, until P.I. Regina Klein calls him with a mystery only he can solve. The son of a wealthy couple has washed up dead on the shores of San Francisco Bay, with drugs in his system and head injury. The police are calling it an accident, but the parents are adamant something's not right. As Clay digs deeper, he discovers a horrifying tangle of betrayal and lies. Debbie Macomber. A Very Merry Christmas. Avery and Reed Bond grew up sharing a close-knit relationship, weathering life's storms side by side. Even so, Avery often finds herself exasperated to her brother's relentless matchmaking. While Reed can't resist teasing his sister after all, isn't that what siblings do? Facing their first Christmas without their beloved Grams, the woman who lovingly raised them, Reed and Avery decide to spend the holidays together at Reed's home. However, their plans take an unexpected turn when the ferry Avery's traveling on stalls in the middle of the Puget Sound, stranding its passengers and leaving Reed waiting a now undetermined length of time for her arrival. What is at first an inconvenience threatens to ruin the plans of a number of commuters, but Avery and Reed soon discover that this unforeseen delay might end up being a perfectly timed blessing in disguise. Witches of Dubious Origin, Jen McKinley, my hat and book and food author. Cozy. Zoe takes a quiet life working as a librarian in her quaint New England town. When a mysterious black book with an unbreakable latch is delivered to the library, Zoe has a strange feeling the tomb is somehow calling to her. She decides to consult the Museum of Literature, home to volumes of indecipherable secrets, some possessing dark magic that must be guarded. Here, among the most dangerous collections, the books of dubious origin, Zoe discovers that she is the last descendant of a family of witches, and this little black book is their grimoire. Zoe knows she must decode the family spellbook and solve the mystery of what happened to her mother and her grandmother. However, the book's potential power draws all things magical to it, and Zoe finds herself under the constant watch of a pesky raven while being chased by undead Vikings, ghosts, pirates, and assorted ghouls. Okay. Now, I'm going to use. There's two different covers for here. If I remember, I'll put them both up. I like the one with the frame. The other one looks like it's gonna be a more the one used, but or maybe they'll use one for the hardcover, one for the paperback. I don't know. But when I was researching this particular book, I came across two completely different covers for it. If I remember, I'll put them up. James Patterson, The Picasso Heist. A newly unveiled Picasso, hidden for a century in a dusty French attic, is set to be auctioned at the prestigious House of Echelon. And Houston has a cunning plan, one that could serve millions for her future and freedom for her wrongly imprisoned father. But to pull off the heist of the century, she must assemble an unlikely master forger, a ruthless Bulgarian mob boss with his own agenda, and an eccentric fashion designer whose flair for the dramatic might be their only ticket into the elite riches of the art world. And Louise Penny, The Black Wolf, a Chief Inspector Gamache, Book 20. Several weeks ago, Chief Inspector Ahmad Gamache of the Surrey de Quebec and his team uncovered and stopped a domestic terrorist attack in Montreal, arresting the person behind it, a man they called the Black Wolf. But their relief is short-lived. In a sickening turning of events, Gamache has realized that the plot, as horrific as it was just the beginning. Perhaps even a deliberate misdirection, one he fell into. Something deeper and darker, more damaging is planned. Did he in fact arrest the Black Wolf, or are they still out there? Armand is appalled to think that his mistake has allowed this conspiracy to grow, to gather supporters, to spread lies, to manufacture enemies, and feed hatred and division. Gotta get into it. Another book that we will 100% be seeing on this channel. I'm not exactly sure when, but we will definitely get this book. If it ends up under my tree, or if it's one of those things that I can't wait for, then we'll get to it sooner. In Deadly Fashion, Rosemary Simpson. August 1891, Prudence has her heart set on wearing her mother's wedding gown on the happy day. Oh, that's right. The lawyer. Now, what bugged me about these books in the beginning was that because of the time period, the author, like, she went with it one book and then ignored it one book and then went with it one book and then ignored it one book, tried it for a couple, and then just went, screw it. I'm going to ignore it completely. The one that where a lady has to have a chaperone at all point, and the lady's relative comes in town and tries to do the chaperone, and the author just says screw it, because she's spending an awful lot of time in an office with men and no other females. But she went and she got her law degree, and she's working, and the guy proposed to her the end of the last book when she was ill, because he realized he didn't want to live without her. It was very romantic. But there's some things about this book, these like, screw the propriety of a chaperone type of thing. It just got out of hand there. Oh, hi, Casanova. Come here. Come here. Come here. Ah. Oh, sorry. 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 I forgot. These two hate each other. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot. Oh, so where was I? I'm sorry. You be nice. You leave the old man alone. I think he's 16. I'm not sure. So August 1891, Prudence has her heart set on wearing her mother's wedding gown on the happy day, but she soon discovers the material has deteriorated so badly that it cannot be refurbished. With time running out, she decides to seek out a new American designer, a woman who trained in the House of Worth, the makers of the original dress in Paris, who now has a shop in New York City. The gown is nearly complete when this expert seamstress overseeing the project is found dead in the studio, with Prudence's wedding dress slashed to ribbons and scattered over the body. The murderer incites a scandal as client after client deserts the now struggling designer. Now, not only must Prudence find the murderer, she must rescue the talented young I can't say it. Coutiere Coutiere reputation, all while another gown is being hastily sewn. The police suspect the seamstress's disgruntled lover. Prudence wonders about other designers competing in the cutthroat world of high fashion. When additional wedding plans start to go away, it's clear there is an elaborate campaign of sabotage, and that either Prudence or Geoffrey are both being targeted. See what happens there. Looking forward to that book. And our final book is another doggy book. 2 doggy books in 1 month. And to all a good bite, David Rosenfeld. Reluctant Lawyer. Oh, it's Andy Carpenter book 32. Yes! Love series! Love series! Reluctant Lawyer Andy Carpenter can't wait for Christmas. He doesn't care much about the season, unless it's football season. Andy's excited to finally relax and watch the game, but when there's a murder related to an old case in Paterson, New Jersey, Andy puts the games on pause. 2 years ago, a gas leak in an office building led to a tragic explosion that killed 7 people. Jeff Wheeler was there to pick up his girlfriend and ran into the building to help. All he heard was the barking of a dog, Rufus, and was able to save him. The pup was the sole survivor, and Jeff named him a hero. Initially, Rufus went to the Tara Foundation since his owner had died in an accident. But Andy met Jeff and liked him, respecting his courage, and allowed him to adopt Rufus. Since then, Jeff and Rufus have formed an unbreakable bond. The accident never set right with Jeff. He believed that one of the building's owners was responsible for the tragedy. Now that the owner has been murdered and Jeff arrested for the crime, Rufus is left with Jeff's sister, who begs Andy to take the case. Andy remembers Jeff's tremendous bravery, and the lingering Christmas spirit decides to help reunite the two. Aww. And there are your 20 new releases for October 2025. And I hope you will watch Voyager recaps this week and check out Flashback Monday. We started with 2007. We are now heading into 2016. And then we finish up. We're going to do some flashbacks. And then we're going to probably proceed forward. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go yet. But I'm looking forward to it. And don't forget my daily book reviews. We also do an unboxing on Sunday. I do not know what's in those boxes until I open them. You know, everybody does an unboxing on YouTube. They know what's in that box. They know what's in that box. They've ordered that book, or someone has chosen a book off their wish list. They know or have a good idea what's in that package. I do not know what's in those boxes until I open them. And 95 to 100% of those items, and most of them, if not all of them, get distributed to different agencies. We have four agencies we're working with now. There may be a 5 or 6 that we're working with coming soon. But I have no idea what's in those boxes. Zero. And most of the time, there isn't anything I'm interested in at all. But sometimes they make really, really good, interesting unboxings. And it's always nice to share my surprise and my interest in these books with you. So please check out those. And don't forget, this Stephanie Lawrence Sinster's reading every Saturday. And once we finish with that in December, we are moving on to J.D. Robb. And we're going to read my comfort books for the new year. I didn't read them in 2024 because I had done them in 2023, along with Janet. I read Eve and Janet consecutively. But now I've decided I need J.D. Robb in my life, so we're going to read them every Saturday. And since there are over 60 books, it's going to take the whole year. So have a good one. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please.